Hello, in the next episode. In today's video, I'm going to solder this small IC. This is the PICOFLY into the Nintendo Switch OLED, and this is the latest Zelda edition. Okay, so what is the quality of the PICOFLY chips? Is it any good? Let's check this. Today's video is sponsored by PCBWay. It doesn't matter if you just started the journey with electronics or you are an experienced designer, but if you'd like to create some project, PCBWay will get you covered. So you can design your own PCB board in just few clicks. You can even upload your project and you will get a manual review by a professional team. Also, PCBWay can assemble PCB for you, and they source the components if needed. They offer CNC machining parts online, $25 sale to custom metal and plastic parts, on-demand production, and rapid prototyping in as fast as 1 day. Online sheet material fabrication service, sheet metal part customization service is offered from prototype to high volume production. They can produce more than 1000 sheet metal parts in 10 days with their low volume production facilities. PCBWay offers also online 3D printing service. 3D printing can manufacture parts within hours, which speeds up the prototyping process when compared to machining prototypes. 3D printing is inexpensive. And they also offer online injection, rapid molds, production tooling, custom molded prototypes and production parts with fast lead times. They offer many available injection molding material, also customizable. Why PCBWay? The answer is simple. You will get the best value, manufacturer direct pricing, fast turnaround times as fast as 24 hours, minimum quantities requirements, on-time shipping, delivery rate of 99%. PCBWay.com. You can find the link in the video description. And now let's get back to our Switch. Okay, so first thing what I'm going to do, as usual, I need to update the firmware. Let's check the firmware. What version is it? And this is 16.0.2. So as we know, now the latest firmware is 16.0.3. So now we need to connect to the internet. Alright, so now we are connecting to the internet in order to make an update. And yes, we are already connected. So first thing, I just need to go to the system update, and let's update this. Okay. So this is the first step actually, and I've seen many comments in my previous videos why, I was updating the firmware to the latest one. Because, my customer wanted. This is not my business what my customers want to do with their consoles, If they want me to update the firmware, I will update the firmware. So there's nothing to worry about. And as we can see, we've got 16.0.3. And this is the latest one. So at this point, the SD card is in, as we can see here. So next step, what I always do, I can just turn this off actually. I just need to make sure that, automatic software updates, they're off. This is very important. I can't stop this process. Oh yeah. So now I'm going to stop updating, this game. I just need to turn this off. Remove the Joy-Cons. We don't need them. Okay, so let's remove the SD card. This card, it's got nice capacity, 512 gigs, it's very nice. And I'm going to plug this to my PC. And from this point I can see that my customer has already prepared his SD card, but the card is prepared for firmware 16.0.2. We've just updated it to the 16.0.3. So what we just need to do, I'm just going to delete every single file because we don't need them. Now, this is my latest pack. Alright, so SD card is already prepared, so I'm going just to safely remove the SD card by ejecting it from the system, and SD card is already prepared. Okay, so let's put it on the side. So here we've got our PICOFLY chip, and design is simple. We've got two buttons, boot and reset, and this is a USB-C port. So what we just need to do first, I'm going to show you. So now I'm on the website that we can download the firmware for PICOFLY, and as we can see here, the latest edition is 2.67. And we're going to download this, but I just need to make you aware because I've made some mistakes in the past, and every single time when I was trying to download the firmware, I was clicking right mouse button and I was using Save Link As. And what it does, let's save this on the desktop, for example, and we've got already downloaded this file. And let's go to the properties and look at the size. The size is 148, and this is not correct size. The correct size is, as you can see, 248 kilobytes. So this is the correct size. And then you can see all firmwares, the previous editions, they got the same size. So this is very important, because if you use this file, it won't do anything to your PicoFly, and you can get frustrated, like me in the past. So make sure that when you are on the website, you don't need to click right mouse button and click Save Link As. You just need to go further, and then, as you can see, the size of the file is correct. And now you can download your file. Just type it C. And let's go to and let's have a look, and we've got the size is correct right now. Okay, so now I've got a USB cable plugged to my PC, and I'm going just to connect this like this. And as you can see, my PC detects this PicoFly as external mass storage. So the easiest way is to just copy this file here. So I'm just going to show you what will happen if I copy this file. This file is what I downloaded earlier with the not correct size, yeah? And when I do this like this, nothing happens, because I should see the LED light blinking on my PicoFly, but nothing happened. When I just unplug it, I've just unplugged this, and I will plug again, and as you can see, nothing happened actually, because this file is not correct. So now I'm going to drag correct file to my PicoFly, and you will see what will happen now. Watch now. See? So what just happened? The PicoFly is already programmed. So when I plug this again, I can see the blue LED, and nothing comes up on the screen at all, because the PicoFly is already programmed. What if I done something wrong and I need to make sure I need to reprogram it? Easy. You just need to press the boot button here and keep and hold it. When you plug the USB cable, just release it. And as you can see, the new screen, the same like at the beginning, when there's a fresh chip, we can now reprogram it. Now I'm going to do this one more time to make sure. I'm just dragging this, and the red light came up, so that means everything is fine. I don't need to do anything more. So the red light means the chip is programmed properly. But you've got also cases that you've got only green light when the chip is programmed. And when you've got green light instead of red, and you keep just trying to flash the chip, and it's still green light, what you just need to do, on the other side, you've got here the RGB fields. So what you just need to do, you need to solder, you need to bridge those 2 points. So when you've got only green light, you just need to solder these 2 points. Alright, so my chip is programmed. So what I'm going to do now, I'm going just to remove these 2 buttons and the USB-C port. I'm going just to melt this solder with my solder, just to make it easier to remove the port, like I always do. So I'm going to use microscope, and I'm going to add some flux. By the way, if you've got a problem, to solder the tape or the MOSFETs to the, APU, and some of the capacitors on the APU, get lost, you can use them. 1, 2, 3, 4. Basically, they are not necessary. So you can use them to replace the missing caps on the APU. It's very important. So this is my low melt solder, and let's mix this with this. See, that way it will be much easier to remove the USB port. Right, brilliant. Now I'm applying some flux on the back pins. All right, and done. This is what we need to do, and also the buttons. To apply some more flux. Alright, so now hot air, 400 degrees, and let's do this quickly. And done. The job is done. But remember, you need to do this very quickly, because you are using 400 degrees. And this is a very small PCB board. That's why you need to mix the the solder which is on the board with low melt solder, and thanks of that you can remove some components quicker than usual. All right, so let's go under the microscope. All right, now I'm going to clean that solder from the parts, because we got some bridges. We don't want them because they can cause some more problems, so we need to get rid of them. All right, we can leave the solder in the holes. It's not necessary. All right, so we need to solder all these holes except the last one and the first one, because we don't want to use this. So we just need to use the ground 3.3 and the rest of the points. I will explain later. So let's apply some flux. Let's solder the holes. That's it. See, we don't need to solder first hole because we don't want to provide 5 volts. We just need to provide 3.3 volts. And the last one is not for us. We don't need this, so that's fine. All right, and now we need to solder 3 resistors, 47 ohms, starting from here. 27, 28, 29. So I've already prepared resistors. This is the resistor number 1. So I'm going to solder this first. It has to be on the angle because we don't want the other end of the resistor to touch this point. It can be also soldered like this. So I'm going to hold this resistor on that angle. I'm going to take some more solder on my soldering iron. And that's it, yeah. And we just need to solder here the jumper wires. So the job is quite easy. HWFLY, it's easier because you don't need to solder, the resistors here. And someone can modify this board. The resistor can be already on the board. We will see, probably someone will make it easier for us. Quicker, easier. Alright, that's it. So like I said, 27, 28, 29. We got 3.3. In this case, we need to make sure that there's no flux residue anywhere, because this device is very sensitive, and even a small amount of the flux on the certain points can destroy our work, and we could have some problems, with glitching. That's why we need to always clean the area where we solder. Even there's no clean flux, you need to do this, remember. All right, so from this point of view, the chip is already prepared. So now what we need to do is to open the switch and do the same job as usual. Don't worry about this. This is just normal. One resistor is missing here, or capacitor. This is normal. I didn't blow this by accident or something like this. So alright, so let's disconnect the battery. It's very important to do this first. First thing, when we get the access to the battery connector, we just need to disconnect it straight away. Alright, so the motherboard is out. This is our motherboard. First thing, this is like normal, HWFLY installation. So it's exactly the same. There's no difference at all. We just need to remove some shields. Alright, so let's clean this thermal paste. Right, very nice. I'm going to cut that metal frame here to get access to the point D. Right, so now we've got access to the point D. And we just need to cut also this frame. It's where the eMMC IC is. Alright, let me just find some adapters for that 0 point. Right, I've got it. Let's check if that 0 point is touching, our adapter. So, as usual, black probe on the ground, and we've got multimeter in the diode mode, and yes, it's connected. So now we need to make this a little bit stronger. Still connected, yes. Now I'm going to apply some flux here, here, and here. And I'm going to use a pressure, and I'm going to solder this adapter permanently to the frame. Alright, so let's push it a little bit. Right, beautiful. The same with the other side. Just a little bit. Push it. That's okay. Let's solder our point here. That's fine. That's perfect. Black probe on the ground. And yes, we've got our reading here. It's good. So next step, I'm going to solder my jumper wire straight to this point. Alright, so let's clean this, because as I said before, we need to make sure that there's no flux residue on our points, because it can make our PicoFly chip more sensitive, and we don't want this to happen. One more time, the last time I measured this point here. It's good. Now I'm going to put the shield back on. Here's our NAND memory with our point C, and here is our point B. Like I said, be careful on these resistors. Alright, that's absolutely good. Right, I'm going to clean this point. I've heard many opinions about this flux residue, and I've heard that the most sensitive point is point B, so this point is the worst. Right, so we've got point C, we've got point B, with the ground. This is the ground. Right, very nice. The ground point is soldered. Okay, so next step is 3.3 volts. You can take 3.3 volts from these cups. Add some flux. Because at the moment we've got something like the spike shape. We don't want to do this. Oh, that's the problem. Come on. Alright, finally. Clean this as usual. Right, and now we just need to make sure that the excess of the solder don't touch this point. And as you can see on the multimeter, it's not touching. So it's okay. There's no short. Alright, next step, point D. It's point D. Alright, so we need to scratch a little bit. Like I said, need to be very, very careful, because we don't want to scratch this area. Because if we scratch it and apply some flux and solder after, we can breach them by accident, and then we can damage the console. Let's apply some flux. Alright. Right, so now I'm going to check multimeter on the ground, left probe, and we've got good reading. Now I need to shape this jumper wire a little bit. I'm going to use the solder mask to make this connection stronger. It's almost last step, this small resistor. I need to solder the jumper wire to the point A. Alright, so next step, almost the last step, is to solder the tape, because, you know, I'm not going to use just the MOSFETs and solder them like, you know, in very bad way, like some of the YouTubers done already. I could see this job, and it's not clean job. This is actually tape from the light. Let me check if I've got different version. I've got a tape from the core. Remember SX core? This is one of it. I think this tape is better because it's going here like this. Okay, the light version is like this. You see, I would prefer this, actually, the core version tape. Alright, so first thing what I'm going to do, I always do, I just apply some flux and solder on those points, but they're already there. Worry about this. Just need to clean this nice and clean. I've got already prepared, you know, the APU ribbon tape. I just need to solder this to the APU here. Let's solder these points, make it more stable. The second point, beautiful. And I'm going to solder SP1 and SP2. Always better to use your tweezers to push it down, make a better connection. Beautiful. So let's clean this. Alright, let's check with the multimeter. Now we've got in the continuity mode, beep mode. Let's check. And it's correct. 0. Yeah, the ground. Correct. And the ground. Very nice. Just clean the core. What I just need to do more, just need to cut all that metal shield off a little bit. Alright, so now we can apply some thermal paste on the core. Right, those balls are a little bit too big, so I need to spread them. Right, let's go out under the microscope, and we need to solder the jumper wire to the third pad. Alright, I'm going just to clean this a little bit. And I'm going to use the Kapton tape to secure this ribbon tape. Alright, I'm going to do this later. So first I need to put the shield back on, and then it shouldn't be any problem, you know. So let's put the shield back on. So I'm going to use double side tape, strong tape, 2 millimeters thick. I'm going to put this like this. Okay. Alright, so let's peel off this film. First connect the ground point, and in our case here is the ground point. So we need to solder this jumper wire here, and then 3.3 volts. Let's go under the microscope. So we got the ground point, and we need to solder the ground point here. Our ground point is soldered, so now we need to 3.3. 3.3 goes from here. This is our 3.3 volt point. We need to solder this here. Alright, 3.3 is soldered. Now we need to take our wire here. That's 0 point. Now what I'm going to do, keep this, and I'm going to use the ground holes here to put some solder on the end of the jumper wire to make it easier. Because you know the temperature can be too high, and those resistors, I can damage everything if I use high temperature, but you know, they are so small, but they just need a little bit more than usual and they will come off. I just need to thin the end of this, you see, just like this. Now it's already prepared to be soldered. Quickly, nice and easy. First I'm going to apply the flux as usual. Alright, that 0 point is soldered. Right, so now we need to solder point A, so CMD, this one, to the next resistor. I'm going to use this solder pad to thin my jumper wire. Alright, that's fine. I'm going to cut into correct place. Okay, another point is soldered. So this is the point A, CMD, and now our point D, which is under the APU, exactly, but it is here. This is our point D. This is the clock, CLK. So we need to solder this to the next resistor. Next resistor is here. Right, the same process. Okay, it's good. So we need to cut this here. Apply some flux. Let's solder this here. Okay, that's fine. What we've got left, we've got this wire. This is point B, RST. Goes here to this point. This is the next point. Alright, so then one last point is point CPU is here. Absolutely fine. Alright, so next step, very important, is to clean all those points with isopropyl alcohol. We need to solder this point just a bit. Oh, like that. It's better. Right, so everything is clean. So now I need to go to the diode mode on the multimeter. Let's measure all points here. The ground, 0, 0. 3.3 volts, it's okay? Yes. This is the C point, that's 0, good. This is point A, CMD, it's good. This is point D, CLK, good. This is ST, it's good. Point B. And we've got also the CPU. Right, so what I'm going to do now, I'm going to assemble this. Need to connect the phone. Alright, so before I plug the battery, I just need to measure points again, because you know now it's almost assembled, so it's good. So black probe on the ground, multimeter in the diode mode. Let's check. This is the ground, good. This is 3.3, good. This is point C, good. A, good. Point D, good. This is point B. This is point CPU. Alright, so I can plug the battery. And this is the moment of truth. Alright, we've got it. You know, this process of installation is a little bit more complicated. That's why, you know, I charge more money for this installation than the normal HWFLY or Instinct So this is actually much more complicated. And I just bought, you know, 2mm tape because, you know, underneath this chip there's a chip, you know, underneath, and I could just use the Kapton tape, but I was, you know, I was, you know, this is just a try. I'm going to replace this double-side tape with the different one. This one is too thick. I think 2mm is too thick. I just wanted to buy, you know, good, strong tape, double-side, that will hold it properly. But I bought, you know, 2mm thickness. This is something like this, as you can see. And I've got also 1mm just in case. And I've got also the double-side tape that I use usually. Alright, never mind. Let's try our SD card. So we need to check if it's booting up to the Hecate and then to the atmosphere. This is this card. We just need to disconnect the battery. Never connect the SD card reader, this module, to the switch without unplugging the battery. Alright, so now save. Let's press and see. And it's glitching. And yes. I've just downloaded fresh, you know, files for the latest firmware. This is what we've got. Alright, so I'm going to power this off. Just remove the SD card. Okay, so the SD card is prepared. Let's start. Alright, so now we need to go to here. And we've got version of firmware 16.0.3, atmosphere is 1.5.3. It's very nice. Let's go to album. So as you can see, everything is working properly. Just need to attach the Joy-Con. Alright, so the job is done. That's it. I just need to assemble this back. Just need to replace that double-side tape. It's too thick. Just need to replace it. Just need to secure the CPU ribbon tape here before I assemble it back. And that's it. The job is done. Everything is working properly. Alright, so let's turn this off. So as you could see, I've already soldered the PICOFLY chip into the Switch OLED. And as you could see, everything was working fine. I just need to assemble the console. I just need to secure some connections and I can send it back to my customer. So I think he will be happy. Alright, I hope you enjoyed this video. Please like and subscribe, and you know, the link for the files for the SD card setup is in the description, so you can download them for free and you can just drag and copy them to your SD card. I will place the link also to the PICOFLY firmware, so you can download in the way what I show you. Don't do my mistakes, and see you next time.